Hi, gang. Let's talk about realizing these figured bass progressions. And that means we're going to take the bass line that's given. This is a bass line. These are bass notes. It's important that you can constantly consider these to be bass notes. These are bass notes. Notice that this says bass note over here. So our job is to use these symbols to determine what chord tone all of these bass notes are. If I see the symbol 4-2, I look over here. What does 4-2 mean? 4-2 means that I'm looking at a 7th chord and that the 7th of the chord is in the bass. So 4-2, that's telling me that this bass note, like I said, these are all bass notes. This is a bass line. This bass note, this B flat, is the 7th of a chord. Remember way back when? Earlier in this chapter? when we were making 7th chords and we were given a certain chord tone and then we had to figure out what the chord is from there? Well, now we're putting it in play. Let's just do that one. If that's the 7th of a chord, then the 5th must be right here, the 3rd must be right here, and the root must be right there. Does that make sense? Can I zoom in? Yeah. All right. Looking at the key signature, don't forget about the key signature. There's a B flat in that chord. So, sorry, there's a kitten in the other room. I hope that's not too loud. We got to mind the key signature, so we end up with C, E, G, B flat. And if I get to my piano here? If I look at that C, E, G, B flat, I find it's a C dominant 7th chord. So that's the chord we're working with. It's a C7. Now this says use slash chord notation if it's an inverted chord like this. So this is a C7, and the way you read this, you say C7 over B flat. Over B flat. That cat. Oh my gosh. Why do we say over B flat? Because B flat is the bass note. That's the note that's in the bass. All right. Can I actually play that on this funky little piano? Let's see. There's a C major over B flat. Now, quick little tangent here. The identity of this chord doesn't change if I change how I'm voicing it. No matter what I do, I could have a C here and a G here and an E up there. As long as I have C, E, G, and B flat, it's a C7 chord. And if I have B flat in the bass, no matter how the rest of this is organized, it's still C7 over B flat. It's still a 4-2 chord. 7th is in the bass. All right, so that was really messy. After all that work, our answer is C7 over B flat. Let's do the next one. It's a 6. What do we know about 6s? 6s mean this is a triad and it's in first inversion. That means that the bass note is the 3rd. So this note is the 3rd. That's the bass note. What is that note? It's an A. So if A is the 3rd of a chord, then the 5th is here and the root is there. And that's F-A-C. F-A-C. It's an F major chord. That's the chord. We were just told that this was a third. That's the third of a chord. So if the third is an A, the root must be some kind of F. The fifth is some kind of C. We can throw a little EGBD FAC on here too. Remember, we always read it clockwise. And we can use that also to figure it out. The A was the third, so that means F is the root, C is the fifth. Now remember, check the key signature. Turns out the key signature here, just B flat, doesn't involve any of these notes, so it's F natural, A natural, C natural. I'm going to go ahead and erase those for future. So it's FAC. It's an F major chord. We can just write F for F major. We still need the slash because it is inverted. The bass note is an A. So when you're talking to your bass player in your garage band, they're asking you what chord you're on right there, you say F over A. Dig it? Okay, well, what about this crazy thing? Well, the 6 still means what the 6 means. What does 6 mean? 6 means a triad in first inversion. The bass note you're looking at in that chord is the third. That's what 6 means. So just do the regular stuff first, and we'll deal with the slash in a minute. So if this note is a third, that's a D, then the root must be some kind of B, and the fifth must be some kind of F. Don't forget the key signature. Key signature B flat, okay? So this is actually B flat D F. Now remember, we're not done. We're going to deal with that slash in a second. Things are going to get weird. But just doing the basic 6 part, we have B flat D F. Again, I go to the piano, I play B flat D F, and I have B flat major. B flat D F. So B flat major is where we're starting. But we got to deal with this slash. There are a lot of different symbols. You'll see a slash, you'll see accidentals, there's a sharp there. Looking at this one, here's a sharp, here's a flat here. Sharp, a flat by itself. If there's an accidental by itself, it refers to the interval of a third above the bass. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go back. These numbers, listen to this. Memorize this sentence. This is going to come up again and again and again. These numbers refer to intervals above the bass. Remember our inversion conversation and what those chords look like on the staff. I would write the chord on the staff, and then we'd ask what intervals are there above the lowest note. And then we came up with these bass position symbols based on those intervals. Well, that still works. 4 and 2. The reason there's a 4 and a 2 there is because this chord with the 7th and the bass has an interval of a second and an interval of a fourth. Okay? These numbers mean intervals above the bass note. Say it. These numbers mean intervals above the bass note. This 6 that has a slash through it, it's talking about the interval of a sixth above the bass note. Above the bass note. Get rid of that. Now what that slash means is you are going to raise that interval a half step. So whatever interval is, whatever note is a sixth above the bass note. The bass note is a D. I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and I find this note. What is it? It's a B flat. That note is a B flat. There's a B flat in the key signature. The slash means to raise that note that is a sixth above. So that means this B flat is now a B natural. 6 still means that this is the third of the chord. And so when we go back now to the keyboard, we had B flat, D, F. Now we have B, D, F. That B flat major has become B diminished. Again, if I look at it this way, third in the bass, that's the D. D is in the bass, right there. So I'm going to play the B flat chord with the D in the bass. The slash through the 6 says, raise the interval that's a sixth above the D a half step. Well, D, F, and B is inversion of B diminished. So this is no longer a B flat major chord. It has now become a B diminished chord. This is a B diminished over D. Woo! That's chewy. Go back and watch it over and over and over and over and over again. The steps were recognize the 6 means first inversion triad, third in the bass. Figure that chord out without even thinking about the slash. And that was a B flat major chord, B flat D F. Then the slash means find the interval that is a sixth above D and raise it a half step. That note was a B flat. We raised it a half step. It became a B natural, and that changed our chord from B flat major to B diminished. Okay, other ways things get altered. If there is not a number associated with an accidental, that accidental will always modify the third above the bass. So, is there a bass position symbol right here? No. So what does that mean? What does no bass position symbol mean? Root position triad. So this E is a root position triad. E, G, B. Check the key signature. Is there an E, a G, or a B in the key signature? Nope. I have F sharp and C sharp. So without thinking about this sharp at all, the basic chord is EGB. It's an E minor chord. But that sharp all by itself with no number next to it means to raise the third. Any accidental by itself with no numbers attached to it means raise the note that is a third above the bass. So E, G, B becomes E, G sharp B. So that chord is an E major chord. You'll know if there's a number associated with it. Like, look at this. That flat is next to a 7. This sharp is not next to anything. It's under a 7. Doesn't have anything to do with the 7. Always refers to third above the bass. There you go, gang. That is chewy. That's as chewy as it gets. Dig in, have fun, ask questions, use tutors, use office hours. You got to do it. You got to know this stuff. Adios.